from GMA News Online. You guys were last year in 2013. I was at that show, fantastic show, and thanks for coming back. Not to put you on the spot, but do you guys remember anything from that show? I know you do a lot of shows like everywhere, but
Remember, it was outdoors, and it was the first. I think it was our first stop in Asia on that tour. I think we started there, and yeah, I remember actually what the venue looked like. I remember the fans being amazing. I remember I remember buying some cheap watches. Our security guard Renel was he's Filipino, so he knew the city really well. But we've actually seen more of Manila on this trip. So each time we come back to different cities, we try not to go to the same place twice. We try to go find new places, investigate the city that we're in.
I don't know if you remember that show was actually the day before the big hurricane, and that
Oh,
was
that's right. That's right. It was the day before.
probably the most terrifying set of circumstances to be in a country.
Yeah, we took off 5 hours before the hurricane made landfall. I remember that.
thanks guys.
Thank you.
Hi, One Republic. I'm Melissa from Interaction. I just like to ask, how will your show tonight be different from your previous show? When your previous show was amazing.
So this term, it will be a different set list. It'll be a different set list. It'll have some new music as well. We're in the process of developing the next album's tour, the entire show. So you're kind of catching it in the middle stages. So we're kind of learning new songs and rehearsing new stuff. It's going to be, once again, a very sweaty affair. It's going to be very hot. So, I'm just hoping it doesn't rain. Somebody told me it might rain. So, but it'll be better than the last time, I promise. It'll be an even better show, for sure, 100%.
We're excited to try out some new stuff with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the Philippines. I'm Lester from Manila. I know that you've been writing songs in different places, especially every time you're on tour. But have you ever been got a chance to write here while you're here in Manila?
Yeah. I was actually recording today and yesterday in Manila, working on our album. So there's a couple songs that we worked. We came here from Sydney. We were working because we have to finish the album this summer to get it out in time for the fall. So we were recording. I have a full studio set up at our hotel, and was recording yesterday and today. So Manila will probably be listed in the credits of our album.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Trixie Umul. I'm from Billboard Music Philippines. You mentioned your album earlier. I just wanted to ask if there's anything that changed in your songwriting process for the new album.
We did a lot, probably 4 or 5 times as many songs. So we're very, this band, our sound is very flexible. So we experiment a lot, probably more than most bands. We experiment with different sounds and different styles. And this album, we did, 40 or 50 song ideas to get to, if you're gonna travel around the world several times, you want to light the world on fire while you do it. So the first single is just, as I've said before, a very small appetizer of what the album is. It doesn't even really sound like the rest of the album, actually. It's very different. This album is, it's the best collection of songs we've ever put together. So I feel really strongly about it, but again, we have to put it out and let the world decide which songs, what makes them feel.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi guys, Barry Deloria from Shock Magazine. Actually, it's connected to the last 2 questions. I'm curious about your artistic process. How do you start from the songwriting to the actual rituals before you perform?
It's kind of every way, and any way. We've had songs come about from everywhere, a complete realized idea right off the top of the bat to something that we will spend weeks, occasionally longer than weeks on. And I think this was the first album that we really tried everything. Like we left a lot of songs off that we spent a lot of time on. And I feel like that's the first time that we really dug in so deep with every kind of tangent that we wanted to go on, that we ended up with a cohesive group of songs that felt like an album.
Alright, thanks.
It's the biggest difference.
Hi guys, I'm Nico from Jakarta Globe, Indonesia. I want to ask if you have any musicians that you deem as a dream collaborator or someone that you will feature in your next album.
We have a few features on the next album. When I was a kid, I was a big Peter Gabriel fan, and so he's collaborating with us on the next album. Another band called the XX did a song with them. Pharrell Williams, and then we're looking at one other possible person. There's one song that we may have bring in a female collaborator, which we've never done before. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that. Those are our dream. My dream collaborator is Peter Gabriel. He's on the album. So there you go.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Risha and I'm from iHeartRisha.com. And how does it feel to be back in Manila? Like, what are your expectations from tonight's show?
What's your name?
Risha.
How does it feel to have a website called iHeartLisha? Yeah.
Oh, well,
You're doing all right, if that's your website. It feels great to be back here. We went out last night into Manila. You know, there's so much, the traffic here obviously is really crazy, so the last time we were here, we didn't have any time. We were here for like a day, and so yesterday we intentionally took the early flight from Sydney, so we got in by lunchtime, and we had the day to like go into Manila and check around and check out some different spots, some cool coffee shops and restaurants, and we ended up at some kind of speakeasy bar last night. So with each trip we take to the Philippines, and I have a cousin that lives, my first cousin who I used to live with, he lives in the Philippines actually. He lives here. He lives like about an hour away from here, right on the ocean with his wife who is Filipino. And he's always telling me to come out and go on vacation. So the next time we come here, I'd like to have a few days where we can go to the beach and actually experience something outside of Manila. I think it'd be exciting.
what are your expectations from tonight's show?
I think it's going to be, I mean, the last time we performed in Manila was incredible. Oh my God, no, I was wrong. We weren't outdoors. The last Manila was Araneta. Araneta, the Coliseum. Yeah. The last time was the arena. So it's going to be completely different vibe than the arena. It's going to be, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be crazy. If it rains, it's going to be even crazier. It's going to be, I mean, the show, you know, yesterday during rehearsal it started raining, and we just said, well, if it rains, it rains, I guess. So I'm going to have to walk carefully. These shoes are really slick, so I'm going to have to put some different shoes on. But I think tonight the crowd's going to be nuts. Outside crowds are always more energetic than inside crowds, always. So it's going to be very high energy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey guys, my name's Amy from Spot.ph. You mentioned earlier about being very flexible in terms of experimenting with genres. I just want to know, what pushes you to experiment with new sounds or try new things?
I think getting bored with what you've done before, it pushes you to experiment. I think if you tour long enough on the same album, you get tired of those songs. So you want to try something new. I think that the artists that have the longest careers, that are able to constantly connect with civilization and humans, because music is the international language. So the better you get at speaking it, the more dialects you want to speak. So all we're trying to do is speak more and more dialects with different accents because music is the language. So
We like to explore.
Thank you so much.
yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Georgie. I'm from Harian Metro, Malaysia. And my question is, how do you foresee young generation nowadays, especially musician? Do you agree that there are lack of aspirations, motivations, or inspirations?
No, I don't know if the younger generation has a lack of inspiration. I think that they don't want to do the same kind of work that the older generations did in the same way. I don't think that means they don't want to work. I think that means they don't want to work in the same way. I think the idea, if I was 22 right now, graduating from university, well, I mean, the way that I thought when I was 22 graduating, my thought process back then was exactly how kids think now. I think just maybe because I was an artist and I was more artistically leaning, I was already kind of gone there in my mind. I knew when I was 18 years old, first day of college, I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to go get a job, a normal job ever, whatever that means. And I think that's more or less what the younger generation is saying right now. The idea of going to an office 9 to 5, 45 hours a week, living for the weekend, 2 weeks off a year, that kind of idea is very unattractive to 18-year-olds, 22-year-olds, and I don't blame them. So I think they just have to figure out, okay, well, if you're not going to do that, what are you going to do? You have to figure out a new way to get inspired, and you have to create new industry that supports you wanting to have a different kind of existence, a different job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Lainey from Hype Malaysia. I have to say I really love how 10 years on you are still experimenting with your music. But I really wonder, how have your musical influences changed from when you first started out until now?
I think there comes a little.
Yeah, there it goes. I think it's constantly evolving. There's a handful of artists that all of us love and will always love for the rest of our lives. But it's kind of like food. You try something new, and maybe you didn't want to try it. You didn't have a taste for Filipino food for years and years. You're like, that's weird. I don't want to have that. And then one day you try it because someone suggested, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. And then you're like, I want to learn how to cook Filipino food. So food is the same as music, I think. And so you evolve, and as you get older, some people don't evolve. Some people choose to just eat the same thing every day, listen to the same music. But if you do that as an artist, you die. So I think the idea is you evolve, or you die, or you stop. And I think the day we stop evolving and listening to new music, we constantly listen to new music, constantly listening for new artists, new songs, new inspirations, and then we also look back to old inspirations and old artists. But new is always the most exciting thing, I think, to most people. So we look out for new all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Jordan from Malay Mail. I know you kind of touched on it already, but commonly artists, when they travel around the world so much, they say they don't have much time to explore. So every time you visit a place like Manila, what do you look out for?
Same thing we would look for in Scotland. Try to find a good pub, try to find a good, good restaurant, try to find a good coffee shop, try to find what the locals will do. We do a lot of internet research. A couple days leading up to a trip, I'm going to Tokyo tomorrow, and I planned out where I was going to go 4 weeks ago. So I think the more that we tour as a band, the more interested we've become in the culture. Because when you first do it, you're just like, oh, I'm tired, and it's the Philippines. You don't even know what country you're in half the time. And it seems like so much trouble to go leave your hotel. So most artists stay in their hotel. And that to me, if you did that for 20 or 30 years, it's, why bother? Why are you even doing what you're doing? I think if you're going to go to all these beautiful places, such as the Philippines, or Malaysia, Indonesia, if you're going to be in Jakarta, don't just stay in your hotel. Go out and see Jakarta. Go eat Indonesian food. Go eat Malaysian food. Find a local restaurant, find a local bar, meet local people. I think that's what makes this job more fulfilling the older we get.
Do you bring any home comforts on tour?
Candles. I travel with candles and incense. So people always know if I'm in a room because I'm burning, and I'm a candle snob. So I probably spend more money on candles than food. So yeah, if you know any good Filipino candles, give it here.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rika Young from Pep Talk PH. I just want to ask, do you have like a mantra or a ritual before you perform? How does it help?
God, please help me not mess up. Do we have a mantra? I think what we do is very non-traditional. I see a lot of documentaries, whether it's Kings of Leon or Coldplay or Katy Perry or whatever it is. Everybody's standing in a huddle, going woo, doing Taylor Swift. I know does that before every show, and maybe we should do that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we just throw like peanuts and chips at each other for about 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
backstage.
Our backstage pre-show is one guy might be watching a movie, the other guy is listening to music, another guy is making coffee, like hand grinding coffee. Sometimes I'll do push-ups. I like to go for like run a 5K or 10K before a concert, and then clean up and then go do the concert. So our rituals change depending on, like today I'll probably go to the gym, I'll run 5K, or so, and then probably work on some music, and then we hit the venue. If we're nervous, we do a shot.
Or two.
It depends on where we are. Today it might be dangerous because we will get dehydrated.
So pretty much everything that Motley Crue used to do, but just not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
We're very rock and roll.
Like a G-rated Motley Crue.
Grinding coffee.
Hand grinding coffee, reading
Motley
self-help books.
Apologizing.
You know.
Mending the fence with your wife.
Ordering 30 club sandwiches.
Yeah, something like that. It changes every city.
Alright, thank you.
Alright, we are down to our last question.
Okay, you're the last one. That'd be good.
Hi, I'm Jackie from Preen.ph. I just want to ask, when you're writing your album, do you ever experience creative burnout, and if so, how do you handle it?
Yes, we've definitely experienced creative burnout. I think most artists do. You have to have a change of scenery. You have to walk away. For me, if I have creative burnout with One Republic, then I usually I'll focus on another artist. So if I'm burning out on One Republic, I will switch into working on somebody else's album. I'll go spend a week working on different songs. So I listen to different music, get away from One Republic, come back refreshed, or occasionally go on a vacation. We don't take many vacations actually, not near enough. Maybe 1 or 2 a year, and that's it. So yeah, that's what we do.
The amount of travel that we do, and the fact that most of the work that we do is while we're on the road, is probably the best thing for us as far as avoiding creative burnout. It definitely happens way more when you're in the same city for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, creative burnout happens when you stay in the same place. So all this travel is really good for us. Being in the Philippines today, being in Japan tomorrow, it's really good for us creatively.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for your questions. And thank you.